Jasmine Crockett had walked into the television studio that day with her shoulders squared and her confidence shining like armor. She had prepared for debates before, but this wasn't just another routine appearance. The show set was electric, bright lights, restless producers darting about, and a studio audience eager to witness fireworks. In one corner stood Greg Gutfeld, known for his sharp humor and relentless jabs. Beside him was Tyrus, whose calm, intimidating presence filled the studio like a storm cloud before rain. Jasmine could sense it, this was going to be a clash, and every camera in the room was waiting for her to slip. As the opening theme music played, the hosts exchanged glances, each knowing the night's topic would be controversial. When the red light flashed, signaling, on air, Greg wasted no time. He fired the first question, sharp, sarcastic, dripping with challenge. Jasmine took a breath and delivered her opening remarks with poise. But as she spoke, the weight of her words was met with smirks, interruptions, and counter-arguments from Greg and Tyrus, who tag-teamed their questions like veteran boxers. The audience murmured, and social media producers in the back typed furiously, already imagining the viral clips this showdown would produce. At first Jasmine held her ground, speaking with conviction about policies, justice, and fairness. But the atmosphere turned increasingly tense. Greg's humor turned cutting, Tyrus's calm yet forceful tone pressed her into defensive corners. With each rebuttal, she felt her pulse quicken. She thought of the people who had encouraged her to speak, to show strength, to never let them see you break. Yet the harder she tried to steady her voice, the more the emotions bubbled inside her. Then it happened, a question so personal, so unexpectedly harsh, that it sliced through her composure. Her throat tightened, the cameras caught it all, the flicker in her eyes, the tremor in her hands. A hush fell over the audience. Jasmine's voice cracked as she tried to respond, but the sentence collapsed midway. Greg leaned back, a flicker of discomfort in his expression. Even Tyrus, normally stoic, shifted uneasily. In that moment, the "meltdown" headline began writing itself across every viewer's screen. But behind the viral moment was a deeper truth. Jasmine wasn't just a public figure on a show, she was a human being who had fought her way from humble beginnings, who had faced doubts, losses, and relentless criticism. That day, the weight of years of struggle and pressure converged under the unforgiving studio lights. She excused herself from the segment, retreating to a hallway where no cameras followed. There, in the quiet, she pressed her hands to her face and took slow, steady breaths. For a minute, she thought about giving up entirely, walking away from public life, retreating to anonymity where no one could attack her. Then she remembered the faces of the young people who had written to her for guidance. The college students who saw her as proof that speaking up mattered. The single mothers who said she gave them hope. She remembered her grandmother's words, "Falling down isn't failure. Staying down is." Those memories steadied her like a lifeline. She straightened, wiped her eyes, and inhaled deeply. Back on set, Greg and Tyrus filled the silence with commentary. They expected Jasmine to stay gone. Instead, she walked back onto the stage mid-commercial break. The crew was stunned. She sat down, adjusted her mic, and when the cameras turned back on, her demeanor had changed completely. Gone was the trembling voice, this was a steadier, calmer Jasmine. She didn't attack, she didn't argue. She simply spoke from the heart about why the issue mattered, sharing her personal experiences, her vulnerabilities, and the reasons she had chosen to stand for her beliefs. Her authenticity pierced through the noise. The audience grew silent, then some began to clap. Even Greg looked momentarily taken aback, his trademark grin softening. The show ended not with a shouting match but with a quiet moment of mutual respect. Tyrus extended a hand, which she took. Greg nodded. The cameras caught it, the shift from confrontation to connection. By the time the episode aired online, the "meltdown" headline had evolved. Viewers flooded the comments, not mocking her but praising her courage to return, to finish what she started, and to show that vulnerability and strength can coexist. In the weeks that followed, Jasmine's public profile changed. News outlets replayed the clip of her comeback rather than her breakdown. Young activists wrote about how her resilience inspired them. Even some critics admitted that her honesty had struck a chord. She turned the moment that could have ended her career into the very thing that defined it, proof that integrity and perseverance matter more than winning any debate. The story closes with Jasmine standing outside another studio months later, preparing for a new appearance. This time, she felt calm. She had learned that public life was less about being flawless and more about being real. And as the lights of the city glimmered around her, she smiled to herself, knowing that her journey, messy, difficult, and human, had become an example for anyone watching who felt pressured to be perfect. Core message for your viewers: true strength isn't never falling, it's rising with dignity after you've been knocked down. Vulnerability can be a turning point, not a weakness. By facing challenges head-on, you can inspire others far more deeply than by pretending to be unshakable.